want you to serve other people. That is your purpose in life, but you also can't overextend yourself doing that. Don't let the chaos in your personal and business life hold you back. There's always a solution. Anytime we are encountered with something hard that God has shown me, most of our reactions is to quit, to stop, feel like there's nothing else for us. But if you persevere through what you are currently dealing with, there is beauty on the other side. And that's where my slogan comes from, where organizing chaos is an art, because chaos is an art if we learn how to persevere through it and embrace it. There's definitely beauty that comes from it. So whether that's streamlined processes or a very clear mind, there's definitely an opportunity that comes from it.
Today, we're talking with Michele Pruitt, founder of MEESH Agency, where organizing chaos is an art. Michele helps creative brands and visionary founders build the systems, workflows, and project structure that turn big ideas into clean execution without killing the creative flow. Michele, welcome to the show. I'm excited to learn more about MEESH Agency and you today.
Thank you so much, Priya. I'm really happy to be here.
So MEESH is such a distinct brand. I love the name. As we were talking before, you were giving different meaning to the word chaos. So I would love you to share like how this got started.
Yeah, absolutely. So I never imagined myself creating the business that I have, but MEESH Agency is definitely a calling for me, God's calling to utilize my spiritual gift of serving others. It starts from, just what I've been dealing with all my life. I'm a single mom of 2 kids. One of my kids is special needs. He's on the spectrum and he also has epilepsy. And I definitely had to go through various journeys of my life of learning how to embrace chaos and learning how to embrace it and make it work for me. And my business just stems from, learning how to embrace it and make chaos work for me, and not just personal, business wise too. As a single mom, I feel like, society has, this one path. And I had to think outside of the box and find ways to make a living for me and my children, but still be able to enjoy my passions and be able to serve others. So the journey of MEESH definitely is a road. And so
I love it. What
yeah.
does MEESH stand for?
MEESH is actually my nickname. It was given to me in grade school and it just stuck with me.
I love it. I love it. The roots go way back to this
Yes.
business. So as we explore the word chaos, I mean, it just sounds disorganized. I mean, if you look at the definition, how do you make sense? How do you help people make sense of chaos? Because as we're talking, I'm reflecting on my life and I've just definitely there's been chaotic moments and it's just part of life. So if you can share how you help people move through that.
Yeah, so to help people learn how to embrace chaos, I talk with them. Every client that I connect with, we do a consultation, and I'm very people first driven. So I like to get to know somebody, not just, when it comes to offering my services, it's more than just, giving somebody something. Learning about who they are and what they're about, what they have dealt with, their pain points, because everybody's different. And I think the more you learn about somebody, the better you can serve them. So, when it comes to understanding somebody's chaos, their business chaos, or just personal chaos in general, it's about getting to know somebody at the end of the day, what they're feeling, what they're dealing with. And when it comes to business, not all systems work for each client. And so I take my time learning about their pain points, their goals, taking a look at their current systems, doing a system audit, and finding solutions that work best for them by getting to know who they are and what they're about.
Yeah, it sounds like a real personalized approach, not cookie cutter.
Yeah.
You did mention personal and business. Do you find there's a ripple effect when there's chaos in one area into the other?
Yes, definitely. So
I
um
love the
I
giggle.
There's definitely a common, and I even see it for myself when we have personal chaos, and we don't know how to manage, from kids to work to, taking care of ourselves. It spills into other things, into our relationships, into businesses that we're building. And if we can't create structure or, be consistent in a workflow of our personal lives, it does spill into business. And so, I've worked with, high profile individuals, and their personal calendar and their business calendar intertwines. And,
Okay.
it's, a lot of people store things in their head to try to keep up with things.
That's me.
And, it's I take my time of trying to find solutions that works for them, implementing calendar blocks so that they're able to balance both personal and their business. So it does take some time of getting to know somebody of who they're about and what they're dealing with on both ends so that they can learn how to balance both. And then we implement systems that work for them, whether it's a calendar or a task management tool, implementing automations, stuff like that to make things more efficient and streamlined instead of just going day by day of whatever comes at me, I'm just going to have to deal with it, or, just many different things.
Absolutely. So with your agency, how is the work what sets you apart from other agencies out there or people who are doing work around productivity? What sets you apart specifically in your methodology and how you work with people?
Yeah. So what sets me apart is we're very people first driven, like I mentioned, but my focus, my target audience is more people in the creative industries. So I do work with a lot of people that are in marketing, entertainment, retail, fashion. And it's because it stems from my personal life. I started when I was 8 years old. I started in the creative entertainment world as a model. So I
Wow.
spent a lot of time in front of the camera. And as I got older, and I went to school for fashion for college, I fell in love with everything that happened behind the scenes. So I know what it's like to be a creative doing stuff, but I also know what happens behind the scenes. Creatives, we don't think so much in straight lines. And the systems and structures, most creatives feel that systems and structure like cages their creativity.
Yeah,
But
it feels
there's
oppressive.
opportunity when we do create structure and foundation. It actually allows our creativity to flourish if we have systems in place or just to support us, have a solid foundation in order for us to grow and scale and our creativity to flourish. So, taking my love for the industry behind the scenes and working with production teams and working in fashion, working actually with marketing directors, I've learned how our brains work
Yeah.
and building systems and structure that builds foundations that work for our minds that don't think in straight lines.
I love this because I believe myself to be a creative person. I've always thought that something was wrong with me because I didn't think in straight lines. The majority of the people around me were. And what you're giving validity to is it doesn't have to be a this or this. You don't have to be creative or it can be an and you just have to put systems in place. So thank you for that. When you talk about the structures, you did say time management's one of them, blocking off time. What are some other infrastructure, I guess, infrastructure problems that you put in or things that you address with your clients that creatives may have issues with?
Yeah, one main pain point that my clients do come to me with is how to handle potential customers or clients. Whether you're a B2C or a B2B, having a business, your customers, your clients are is what makes your business grow. What makes, serving your customers and clients, making sure that their experience is great is how to give your customers and clients a great experience. Your internal operations affects that experience for
Okay.
them.
Yeah.
So the pain point that they come to me is, how can I provide a great experience for my customer client? How can I engage with leads? How can I engage with my customers from the moment they send an inquiry form through my website to, signing a contract, et cetera? What does that workflow look like? Because when you're a solopreneur, or even if you have a mid-sized business and you don't have structure or foundation on how you're serving your customers or clients, there can be communication loss. Customers might not have a great experience understanding the next steps of their journey with you if they do want to onboard and get services with you. When a customer buys a product, what does that journey experience look like? Do customers just go to your website, purchase a product, and that's it? Providing that great experience to them is definitely one pain point that my customers do come to me for. So when it comes to that, we build out, workflows and we implement automation. So, when a customer client comes to your website and sends an inquiry, we want to make sure that an email gets sent to them right away, letting them know, hey, thank you so much for your interest in MEESH Agency. You have a scheduled date and time, and then they get that email. But, automating emails, helping with, communication during that first initial, when a client or customer engages with you, helps, that experience. Those emails can also include, what you're about, your processes of what their journey could look like. It could include a video because people like to see your face,
Yeah.
make, that personal connection before a consultation, and,
It sounds like
implementing stuff
those
like that can
It
help.
sounds like those automations can really take a load off of the person, because I think being a creative, one of the things is that thinking that I have to do it all. And you don't have to do it all. You can put systems in place where things are done for you just so that you can actually focus on the work that you want to do.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the tools, because as I was looking up your information, there's Monday, there's Asana, there's Notion. Why do so many people still feel disorganized, even with the right tool, even when you have these things in place to help you organize in your experience?
Yeah, so when a client comes to me and they have, different systems in place, the first initial thing that when people come to like getting subscriptions is they just see, the what it looks like, but it doesn't really come with an instruction of how to make it work for your business. And so you subscribe to tools like Monday.com, Trello, Asana, and now you're here, you subscribe to it, and now you're trying to figure out how to make it work for you. And you have to either take courses or look up YouTube videos of trying to figure out how to make it work. But if you don't know how to build, structure foundations, how to organize, according to your internal processes, it can get a little chaotic. So that's why clients come to me and get support on how to build their internal processes in these tools. My brain can take the puzzle pieces of somebody's internal operations and piece them together to where it's more streamlined and more efficient. It makes sense. And so, yeah, we do know a lot of different types of tools. We've built out very complex workflows in Monday.com, Jira, Airtable, Asana, a lot of them, and implementing automations to make things, more streamlined, automating those mundane tasks, integrating third-party tools within these platforms. So
Wow,
if
this
they
is
use like QuickBooks or, Gmail, Slack, we integrate those tools within, tools like Monday.com to make things more streamlined for our clients.
if your brain can do that and make sense of it, that's amazing. I'm impressed, because not and that is a real gift, because not everybody can do that. As we talk about chaos, in your experience, what does chaos cost a business in real terms? Money, team morale, missed launches, burnout? What does chaos cost a business in real terms when it's not managed properly?
Yeah, really great questions. Chaos can definitely cause, communication problems within teams, team members not knowing their actual roles. So, they will end up, doing somebody else's task or, tasks that doesn't align with the KPIs of the company. So it definitely causes team issues, team morale, communication. It causes the external effects, like I mentioned. If your internal foundation is not structured, it does cause issues with your clients and customers. If you're not organized internally, how are you able to serve your clients and customers? And give them that great experience. So I see that time and time again where if you don't have a structured foundation, you're going to lose customers because there's no communication being sent to them, no emails. You're going to lose out on money because what is that invoicing process looks like with your clients. So it can cause a lot of different things, not just internally but externally too.
You're making me think of quite a few friends because a lot of my friends during COVID wanted to start, move, shift from their careers and they're creatives and move into an online space. And quite a few of them just gave up on the business because of this cost, because there was chaos, because these things weren't in place. And so then they just said, oh, this is not for me, and went back into the 9 to 5 structure where so I could see the cost is very, very big. What would you say in building, I didn't even ask you, how long have you been in business?
I've been in business for 2 years, but it stems from being a freelancer for over 8 years and then also working in the corporate world. I was working with, marketing agencies. I worked for tech startups. Before I decided to focus on my business full time, I was working at Indeed Flex, which is the tech startup to Indeed. I
Okay.
built their compliance operations department from the ground up and implementing Monday.com, where they called me the Monday.com queen. I love that job, but God definitely was talking to me very loudly leading up to the point of me putting in my 2 weeks to take MEESH Agency full time, and that's what I did.
Amazing. Congratulations. What would you say has been the hardest part of building this business? Have you faced any challenges?
Yeah, as a business owner, I think it's about being able to I was talking to my friend about this the other day, and as somebody who is an empath and wants to help everybody that comes to me, and I'm very people first driven. As a business owner, you also have to realize that you can't serve every single client and customer. And being honest and transparent when, there are things that you can't be able to offer somebody, you have to be transparent and honest about it, and provide, outside solutions for them of, whether it's another partner or another agency, not overextending yourself,
Yeah.
especially as a new business in the midst of scaling. You can't overextend yourself because if you overextend yourself, well, everything else will, like a domino effect. So those are things that I have learned, definitely things that God has shown me. Yes, I want you to serve other people. Yes, that is your purpose in life, but you also can't overextend yourself doing that.
You're just making me think you need to have healthy boundaries
Yes.
regardless. Yeah. So 2 years of Miche agency, 8 years freelancing, and then years before that working in the corporate world. What would you say to Michelle from 10 years ago if you could go back and one operating principle about career, leadership, even personal life, what would you say to yourself?
Man, that's a really good question. 10 years ago, that would make me 28. 10 years ago, you know, definitely overall, I think that one, the biggest thing, and one thing that I like to tell my daughter, first, examine your environment. Like I said, I've gone through a lot of ups and downs throughout my life that has made me the person who I am today. But definitely 10 years ago, I would first check my environment. Who are you surrounding yourself with? If you see yourself as a business owner, you want to make millions of dollars or whatever the case may be, always check your surroundings because you are who you surround yourself or the situations you put yourself in. It's not to say that you shouldn't engage with people who are different from you. But if you are looking to excel and your passions and, pursue your goals, your purpose in life, surround yourself with people that actually in the momentum that are okay with if you have to wake up early in the morning at 6 o'clock to go work out or, because you have a meeting with a client have people around you who are okay with say when you tell them, hey, I got to go to bed early, I can't go spend time with you till 2 o'clock in the morning. Surround yourself with people who would be like, okay, I understand, I know what you're trying to do, not people who would be upset with you doing that. You want people in your corner who want to elevate you and elevate with you as well. So
That's
if
great
hopefully
advice,
that
I
answers
think.
your question, but
Oh,
definitely that's
totally.
one lesson.
I wish I could go back in time and tell myself that from 10 years ago too. So definitely, and um, I think as it's a figment of age that, or as getting older and wiser, that you start to realize, hey, who you surround yourself really does matter. Doesn't mean you have to dismiss anybody. You could still be with those people, but it's who you're spending your time with. Where do you see the future of operations, project management is going for creative businesses, especially when you start to put organization into the chaos with especially with MEESH Agency?
Oof, another good question. This day and age, as you may know, with AI constantly evolving, there are so many opportunities, and I could probably talk for days about AI. But, one thing that I get from people is that they're afraid of AI sometimes, of what it can do, whether it can take their jobs, stuff like that is, one of those common if AI continues to evolve, I won't have a job anymore.
I hear
And
that
this
a
is
lot.
where the embracing chaos comes in. Technology, AI evolves. We have to learn how to embrace what's happening in front of us. And this chaos is what can help elevate us to the next level. So if you can take it upon yourself to understand what is evolving right in front of you. There we're in a time and age where we can go on the internet and search, how do I learn how to do this? How can I take this course?
Right.
Take a course, and some of these courses are free. If you take maybe, a few times out of the week to learn what is going on, along with the special gifts that you are given, you can find solutions if you think outside of the box. Don't, focus on just this is what I'm supposed to do. Think outside of the box and learn what's evolving. You can embrace what is happening and make it work for you and continue evolving. So, the future of, project management operations, there are, tools out there that are evolving to possibly, handle those task
Right.
management. I mean, we see it now that there's AI bots that can help you with task management. But if you don't understand how AI works, sure, it can help you with task management. It's not going to truly understand who you're about personally on a personal
Right.
level and
Right.
on a business level, what your goals are. It will give you, what it knows because it is smart. Uh, Definitely don't want to downplay it, but it still needs a human mind to understand how it works. And so somebody who is learning AI and evolving with it can understand how to utilize AI so you can continue elevating and thinking outside the box of different technology and solutions that you can possibly create to help with task management, project management, optimizing your processes or just anything outside of that realm. So, yeah.
Wow. What a vision, yeah, you just it's so expansive, but I love the way that you bring it back that there just has to be that we still have to have that human touch, and that's what makes it unique. So the $1,000,000 question is, how do people work with you? How can people get in touch with you? Because what you offer is so great. I think it can resonate with so many people who are dealing with the chaos in their lives.
Yeah, so if anybody's interested in working with me, I do offer free 15-minute consultations, clarity calls. So you can just always go to my website at www.meesh agency.com, or you can always just give me a call on my business phone at
Amazing. So we'll make sure to put those links in the show notes so that anybody who's looking to get the systems in check for their business, especially, can get in touch with you. Because I think reaching out to you can definitely help that person who is saying, "Hey, I'm ready to give up on my business because none of this is working," and feel like you are the solution for that. If someone listens to this and somebody catches this episode and remembers one thing, what would you want that to be?
Yeah, definitely one thing would be don't let the chaos in your personal and business life hold you back. There's always a solution. Anytime we are encountered with something hard, most of our reactions is to quit, to stop, feel like, there's nothing else for us. But if you persevere through what you are currently dealing with, there is beauty on the other side. And that's where my slogan comes from, where organizing chaos is an art, because chaos is an art if we learn how to persevere through it and embrace it. There's definitely beauty that comes from it. So whether that's streamlined processes or a very clear mind, there's definitely opportunity that comes from it.
I absolutely love that, and I'm gonna start embodying that message as of today. Instead of thinking it's such a bad thing when things are chaotic, I'm gonna be like, "This is an art. If I move through this,
Yeah.
it's gonna." Yeah.
It's definitely a mindset. So, you gotta change your mindset in order to make things work for you at the end of the day.
Michelle, this was such a wealth of knowledge, and thank you so much for sharing your gift, your passion, and your mission with us here today. We'll make sure, like I said, that your links are in the show notes and people can reach out to you. And yeah, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you so much, Priya. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
This show is brought to you by Project Icon.